Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 31st, last day of August. Hard to believe. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about being selfish. People ask the question all the time, is it okay to be selfish? And for the most part, it's not okay to be selfish. However, it is okay to be selfish in certain areas of your life. And I will tell you, from a physical fitness perspective, from a mental fitness perspective, and for a spiritual fitness perspective, it is absolutely imperative that you are selfish when it comes to this. I used to think for the longest time that it was not. I had a very well-paying job in the insurance industry. I had no work-life balance whatsoever. I was working a ridiculous amount of hours. I was responsible for a sales team of 23 to 25 sales representatives, trying to make sure that they're hitting their quotas on a regular basis. I was the sole income provider of a family of 6. My wife at the time was a stay-at-home mom. I had 4 children that I was responsible from a financial perspective. So I really thought that I was being a good soldier, basically providing for my family, coaching my son's baseball, coaching my daughter's softball, trying to be there for my 2 younger daughters when it came to like brownies and Girl Scouts and other extracurricular activities. And, in the meantime, with no balance in your life, no exercise, a shitty diet, to be perfectly honest with you, not doing anything to grow mentally or spiritually, I got into a rut. Hindsight looking back at it, I got into a big rut, that was probably driven by depression because of some of my lack of activities. It was driven by alcohol. It was driven by pills. When I was going down that path, I knew I was going down that path. I knew that I had to straighten myself out, but there was never time to straighten myself out. Life just does not stop. There was always that weekend that you thought this was going to be the weekend, where maybe you can just kind of stop using certain things and maybe get through a certain sickness or detox or what have you, and then be able to start back up and through willpower, be able to abstain from alcohol or substances or what have you the following week. And just life doesn't stop. There's always family functions on the weekend. The wife's telling you we got a family party. There's a baseball tournament for your kid. There's a softball tournament. There might be a work function that you have to go to on the weekend. So in the meantime, you're getting deeper and deeper into a depression, deeper and deeper into a rut, deeper and deeper into an addiction. And it's just not healthy. And hindsight looking back at it, I thought I was being a good soldier. I thought I was being a good soldier to my employer at the time, not taking time off work, not trying to fix myself, but trying to show up to work every single day. I thought I was being a good parent, trying to be there for the kids on the weekend, trying to be a good spouse to my wife at the time, going to family functions and so forth. And at the end of the day, you're caught basically chasing your tail, to the point literally where your wife leaves you, your kids don't talk to you, and you being a good soldier for that employer, well, guess what? That employer is eventually going to leave you as well, leave you high and dry. And now you're left, in the gutter, basically at rock bottom, and you got to dig yourself out of it. And it's a hell of a hole to dig yourself out of, and it could have been prevented if I actually had some insight. And I will tell you again that it is okay to be selfish when it comes to your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. You have to have balance in your life. If you don't have balance, you're going to go down some form of a dark path. When you wake up in the morning, and I say this sincerely, when you wake up in the morning, at least when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I have to think of is, what do I need to do to make it through the day sober? Then the second thing I need to think of is what I need to do to have a good mental health day. And I will tell you that those things that I need to do on a daily basis are going to come before everything else. It's going to come before me being a good partner to my girlfriend at the time. It's going to come before me going to work, or being a good employee to my employer. for me to be involved in any of kids' lives that I might be in. Again, I don't really have a relationship with my children, but I have a relationship like with my nephews and things like that. You know, all the stuff I need to do is going to come before me and those prerogatives, because I can't be the best uncle, I can't be the best partner to my girlfriend or spouse or whatever, I can't be the best employee to my employer, okay, if I don't have that diversification in my life. You know, so when I wake up in the morning, again, it's sobriety and it's mental health. And what does it look like? You know, from a physical health perspective, a lot of it has to do with diet, a lot of it has to do with exercise, a lot of it has to do with sleep. You have to have time to meal prep. You have to have time to get your cardio in. You have to have time to get your lifting in, you know, whether it's, you know, light weights, aerobic exercises, heavy weights, whatever it might be, because that's going to help you with your brain chemistry, that's going to help you with your physical health altogether, but it's also going to help you with your mental health. You know, from a mental health perspective, those things go hand in hand. You know, diet, exercise, sleep, then you have to expand on that, okay? You have to do something that gives you joy every single day. You know, whether it's listening to live music, whether it's cooking, whether it's going fishing, whatever it might be, you have to have time for yourself. You have to have time to meditate, you know, if that's your thing, okay? Attend support groups if you battled depression or anxiety in the past. And if you have battled, you know, alcohol or substances or what have you, find time to go to your meetings and so forth, okay? Third aspect is the spirituality side, okay? And, you know, when you're going through a depression and you're dealing with an addiction, you are dealing with something called a spiritual malady, okay? And there's actually a chapter in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous talking about two agnostics. And honestly, you can't convince me that you got somebody that's dealing with depression and dealing with alcohol or dealing with addiction, you're going to be pretty hard pressed to find somebody that's not agnostic, that's not questioning whether God exists or not, because their life is in such shambles and so chaotic and just basically so shitty. You know, so they need to work on that, okay? They need to work on that spiritual malady. They need to find a church, you know, that speaks to them. You know, I was born and raised Catholic. For whatever reason, the Catholic Church didn't do it for me. I've been introduced to a Christian church in the Chicagoland area, and it speaks to me. You know, there's groups there that have helped me, you know, through some of my issues. You know, when the pastor speaks on Sundays, I listen. A lot of the stuff is relatable to everyday life. I enjoy it, okay? You also have to live a life of service as well. A life of giving. You know, that's in the Bible, quite frankly. You know, something that's going to help you with your esteem. So whether that's going to a food pantry and donating your time there, going to an animal shelter, volunteering at some charity, you know, or do what I do, you know, which is visit the patients in the hospital and visit the patients in the detox centers, and talk to them and talk about your journey and try to be a beacon of inspiration and try to help them through a very dark time. It's very self-serving. It helps from an esteem perspective. It really does give you a new perspective on life. You know, if you can get those three things in order, your physical health, your mental health, which again, a lot of it goes hand in hand, and then your spiritual health, you're going to have some diversification on a daily basis that's going to allow you to thrive and be the best partner, again, for your spouse or significant other, best parent to your children, best employee to your employer. Once you get through that, you know, then you got to work on relationships and boundaries, healthy boundaries. And then really, if you're coming out of the depths or the hell of a deep depression and an addiction, you know, a lot of times you've had some financial stress, and you got to work on your financial fitness as well, and you kind of got to get yourself back in shape there too. But you can't do any of that unless you focus on the physical, mental, and spiritual side. So we're going to talk more about this, but I kind of wanted to get this video out there. Please like and subscribe to my page, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. If we don't talk, have a great Labor Day weekend.